Welcome to Oswin by my side. I am today here with a special guest, my mom, Patty Layton.
Hi.
She's going to show us how to cook her world famous, amazing lasagna.
Yeah.
And my sister and brother and everybody in the rest of the family are jealous because I get to learn how to make it first and then they have to watch the video. So, first things first, we have to boil, so get the water boiling. So I'm going to step off camera, fill this up about...
You fill it up about 3/4 full and you fill it up with cold water. And then you add salt to it because that helps the noodles to cook faster.
Thank you, Mom.
People.
So we're back. I want you to see this. The water in a big pan like this is right here.
3/4.
3/4 of the way. We're going to add salt, get it on the boil, and as that's boiling, I'll start to prepare the hamburger meat and get the next part of the lasagna recipe going. How much salt, Mom?
About 1/4 of a teaspoon, or that's plenty. If you put in too much, your noodles are gonna taste like salt. So just do about 2 teaspoons maybe.
2 teaspoons.
We'll cook the hamburger meat in a frying pan, and you chop up onions and put salt and pepper on it.
Okay. Now, I always, when I do my hamburger, I start with the onion in there and then put the hamburger above it. Okay. Fillet knife or chopping knife? This little thing?
I sharpen it.
Okay.
I watch your videos and you always say you have a sharp knife. I sharpen it. So. For you.
Thanks, Mom. Now, do you prefer yellow onions, white onions?
My favorite onion is this yellowish white onion because it's sweeter. And then my next favorite is the purple onion. I don't like those little hard ones that you can buy at pretty much every grocery store.
I always, if I can't get a white, I go with the purple. So I don't know, I must just have gotten that from you in what was in the house. Now, does it matter the size of you want it smaller? Because I can go smaller.
Yep, you want it smaller. And sometimes if you want your onions really small, you can use one of those onion grater little things, but I usually just chop it up. Unless I'm making something like potato salad, where people don't really want to see the onions.
Now, I have, just in my own cooking experience, YouTubers, is the smaller the onion, when you're cooking it with hamburger meat, you almost will not even notice the onion there once it's all fried up together. So that's why I always usually go bigger, because I give my dogs my scraps and I don't want them to eat the onions. So I do it just so that way I can make sure I limit my dog's onion intake.
1 large onion or 1.5 onions to 3 pounds of hamburger, which we will be using because I always make a lot of lasagna. I usually make 2 pans. And so I always use extra. You really only need about 1 pound of hamburger if you're just gonna make it for you and maybe 2 other people, or maybe 4 total. But if you're making it for like our crowd, 13 to 20 people, you wanna use at least 1.5 onions and at least 3 pounds of hamburger.
And so normally, it seems like Easter, I'm always in charge of making the Good Friday meal, but my mom usually has lasagna ready to go, and since I was the only one able to make it home this year with the coronavirus, I said, why don't we do a video of your lasagna? Because I love it. So that is the plan today. I don't know how well this will work. This is not how I normally chop an onion.
Oh, you're doing fine. That's good. Onions cook up anyway, so that's good.
So I don't know if I actually put this in the video or not, but I asked my mom, because I always start with the onion in the bottom of the pan, and then I add the meat to the top of it. And then as the meats just mix everything up in there, then I add my salt and pepper, because you have to add extra spice when you're cooking hamburger meat, because it's just going to taste better in your mouth. And that's what's really important. In any dish you make, when you add that salt and pepper, it's just going to taste better in your mouth. So this is 3 pounds of meat?
3 pounds.
There's 3 pounds of hamburger meat.
Okay.
We're going to turn the stove on.
I'm it's a big burner.
Big burner. And then do you pre-add the salt and pepper?
Yeah, I put everything together and
Right
cook
away.
it up.
Yep.
And I use a lot of pepper because we, in this house, like pepper. I use more pepper than salt because when you start adding all the other ingredients, tomato sauce and diced tomatoes, they all have a ton of salt in them. So I limit my salt, but I add a lot of pepper.
About there?
That's good. Okay, that's good with the salt.
Maybe I over salt
The
stuff.
other thing is when people are eating this, if they think they want more salt, then they can add the salt. But you gotta be careful with salt because they don't taste good if they get too salted. Okay, burner's on.
Burner's on. I'm gonna throw it on there, start to let that cook in, and then I'm gonna start mixing it up. And a lot of this is gonna be edited out. This first part though, I'm just gonna let it start.
And the water's getting towards boiling point, so pretty quick here we'll be adding the lasagna noodles to the water. The other thing about lasagna noodles is you can buy a package that's half this size for a smaller group, but once again, I always buy the largest box I can find because I usually make 2 pans of lasagna. Today we're just gonna make 1 giant pan.
This is gonna be awesome.
Alver's gonna need another pan to get his sauce ready, another large pan. So I pulled it out of the cupboard and he will start putting his sauce together in a few minutes and I'll kind of watch the meat for him.
What my mom's doing is you just want to get that hamburger and onion mixed and stir. We're just frying hamburger. If you've never done it, very simple. I eat a lot of tacos because I just love tacos, so I do it like 2 to 3 times a week. And maybe one of these days I'll show you how to make my mom's taco / hamburger meat that I make all the time. All right, so Patty Layton's lasagna, Patty Layton's sauce. So 2 to 3 tablespoons of parsley.
I would put this in first because to get your liquid in there.
2 cans, 14 ounce diced. Okay, do we have a can opener?
Yes, I'll find it. There you go. Yeah.
It's not my kitchen. I love my kitchen. When I bought my house, there was no kitchen, by the way. So when people are watching and they see where my stove is located, a lot of it was designed off of this house. I like being able to move all in one area and just cook. So here we've got diced tomatoes, the Hunt's brand. It probably doesn't matter too much on the brand, but you've heard me go off on not buying the Walmart brands and stuff like that just because it drives me nuts. Just little things are different. So will it affect your flavor? I don't know, but I always buy name brand. It's just in me. It's like, man, if I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna eat it and enjoy it. I want to make sure it's good. I get the quality when I buy Hunt's. So this is non-name brand. So this is my parents are giving me something fishy here.
No, I'm like Alver. I usually use name brands, but we have to blame this one on Michael because Michael went to a store and this stuff was on sale. Yep. So he bought like 2 cases of it. So we need to use it up. And what better way than use it up with a lot of spices? So we will vary the taste if it's not good. So.
That was 2 cans of tomato sauce. Now we're going to do the parsley. 2 to 3 tablespoons. Is this a tablespoon?
Yes.
Okay. I know my mom learned how to do spices by cooking with her mom, and I learned how to do spices by cooking with my grandma too. That looks good. If we need more, we can add more. So we don't need both parsleys.
No,
right? No.
You'll need it again later.
Okay, and does that look like enough?
I put another tablespoon in.
Okay. That's why it says 2 to 3.
See, I go like this. There you go.
That's how I do it too. The more spices, the better. Then 2 to 3 of sugar.
Oh yes, I
And
did
then
that.
1 tablespoon salt and basil leaves. We got oregano leaves. Do you want oregano too?
Whatever it says, put it on.
Well, I don't see anything on oregano.
The oregano goes in the cheese mixture, I guess.
Oh, okay. So oregano, not quite yet.
Okay, here's the sugar.
So 1 tablespoon basil, 1 tablespoon sugar.
Yeah, and that's all I do because my mother is big on sugar, but she's German-Russian, and they're all big on sugar. But I try to eliminate the sugar in our house. Garlic, we should have probably put it in the hamburger, but you can throw it in here.
Yeah.
I would do about 2 to 3 tablespoons because I always buy the minced garlic, and you know when you look at a little garlic at the store, fresh, it's it's pretty big. So I use about 2 or 3 tablespoons.
I have not had my spinach lately, I guess. If you have a spoonful of garlic a day, you'll be having to beat the girls away. So 1 to 2 cloves of garlic, that's 1 to 2 cloves of garlic. Alright, so spices are done.
So you're gonna stir that up and put it on the stove on
do you
low.
have a stirring spoon?
Then put it on the stove on low.
Next.
It cooks until we start layering. Because we will add our hamburger to this sauce. And another thing that I do, I always say use 2 cans of tomato sauce, 2 cans of diced tomatoes. But when you start to layer, if it looks like you're not going to have enough sauce, this is the tricky part, which you will see later. Then you take a name brand tomato sauce and add it to it, just to make it stretch. But sometimes we don't need that because tomato sauce is kind of liquidy, so it's a trick. Hamburger's almost ready.
So we've been breaking this up and just mixing it. And you got a little bit of red in here. And I do this because I'm a spice freak. I'll add more pepper and salt at this point.
No, you're not doing that to my Sorry, I love spices too, but we're not overdoing the spice at this point.
Me and my dad are the only one that ever thinks stuff is spiced correctly because we add extra pepper. Basically, at this point in the video of making lasagna with my mom, we lost everything until we start layering. So we'll get to the layering, but I need to show you what we do next. Now we're gonna go to the cheese sauce, which is very, very simple to make, but we lost all of that footage. And I wanna make this for my mom's for Mother's Day, so I'm also making a lasagna that I'm gonna eat here at home on my mom's, on Mother's Day here in the United States for a combination of both iPhone and Canon M50 camera. Or for Happy Mother's Day to my mom. Love you, Mom, and we'll see how my lasagna turns out without you. All right, so we're gonna be doing the cheese section of this now. That is cottage cheese. So we're gonna be making just cottage cheese. And this is the 16-ounce cottage cheese. I bought Crystal Farms because it's the only one I found, but it's the shredded Parmesan cheese. You just want to dump the whole bag in there. And I probably should have grabbed a bigger mixing bowl. It's supposed to be the 1 to 1.5 cup, 6 ounces. Okay, half cup Parmesan cheese. It's just half cup. I kind of doubled it. But I'm pretty sure when I did this with my mom, since I can't remember, we used the whole bag. We'll find out. If it doesn't taste good when I do my taste test on this stuff, we'll find out. Salt. For the cheese sauce portion, we want 1.5. Not a lot of salt. I always over salt stuff, so it makes a ton of sense. 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 tablespoon parsley flakes. And we mix that all up again. So that's nice and mixed. That is the white part of the lasagna. Now we're gonna get back to the video with my mom with the
Sauce.
Here's the sauce.
It's a little liquidy, but not much. Mostly you see hamburger and tomatoes.
Then here's our layer of cheese. And then the mozzarella cheese for the very top and another layer. So our next step is gonna be draining noodles and doing the layering, and then we're gonna put the lasagna in the fridge for, normally my mom does this at night and
Day
then
before, so.
the day before. The longer you let it sit in the fridge, those spices will come out and the flavor of the lasagna will come out. So we're gonna drain the noodles, layer everything, and then put it in the fridge until an hour before supper time, get the oven at the right temperature, and that's when you'll see us next. But we'll start layering now.
That's good.
Now, do we put any kind of a butter or anything in here?
No.
No.
Ungreased pan,
Ungreased pan.
and you start with one layer of noodles.
Okay, so I just go for it.
You just go for it. And I try not to overlap them at all. So. Make sure your hands are clean because this is a lot of fingering right now, so.
Now, just 3 noodles?
Oh no. Try not to overlap, but you don't want to make it that clean. Okay, do you have room for one more? And I used an oversized pan today because this pan has really tall sides, so I figured we'd just do it all in one pan. But usually I use a 9x13, I think it is. Yeah, 13 by 9 by 2, and I usually make 2 pans full. Make sure your edges are all covered. So now you put some meat sauce on now. And be generous. You want to be generous with everything. If you skimp, it's not going to taste good. So I'm going to make sure it's all on there. Besides that, the first 2 layers, you want to make sure you have a lot of stuff on there because the very top layer is just basically some sauce. Okay, now spread that out a bit.
I'm gonna adjust the camera.
Put the meat sauce on, and we put some of this cottage cheese mixture on. Then I took mozzarella cheese, a large bag, and I sprinkled that on. And then you take Parmesan cheese, and you put some of that. And I don't put as much as a lot of people.
No, so you gotta just look straight up there, Mom.
I like the cheese flavor of mozzarella better than Parmesan. Okay, that's the first layer. Now Alver can do the second layer. Noodles, meat, cheese.
Noodles. There we go.
Okay.
Now meat.
Meat sauce. Okay, spread it out a little bit so you can see how much more you need. Put some down here. Okay, that's good, Alver. Now just spread it out.
Okay.
And now start putting your cheese sauce on again.
Cheese sauce? I didn't see this part of the video.
You just take your fingers
Oh, okay.
and you kind of just pepper it around. Even though it's cheese sauce, you pepper it around. Okay, that's good. Now you take mozzarella and you do the same thing.
All right, so is that good?
Okay, now you take the Parmesan cheese and you sprinkle some of that on the top.
Okay.
Make sure you get towards the edges, Alver. You're putting everything in the middle.
Cool.
Okay, now another layer of noodles.
Another layer of noodles.
Okay, go way up here because you're going to want to fill this space.
Oh, okay. Sauce?
Yes, we have enough to do another layer and then the final step.
I can already tell this is going to be amazing.
That's plenty. 'Cause
Oh,
gotta
you
put
need
on
some
the
for
top.
that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Okay, now use all the rest of that. Just use it up. Spread it all over.
Okay.
Now you need your mozzarella.
Use all of it or not?
No, you need some for the top layer. I can tell you're a guy because you're like your dad. You just put it all in the center. You got to put this stuff on the sides.
I'm a guy. I didn't know.
Okay, use the rest of this on this layer. The rest of the Parmesan on this layer.
Okay.
So do your noodles.
Okay.
So usually when I have extra noodles, when I'm all done, I eat them because I love noodles. But that,
I give them to the dogs.
That's good, right there. You have one piece extra, so
You
go
want to
ahead,
split it in
David,
half?
put it on.
You can eat your noodle?
I have mine.
Oh.
I think we have plenty. You do a very light layer across the whole top of the sauce. Then you take a spatula and you get this top layer as thin as possible, but you have to have all the noodles covered. And this is where I say if it doesn't do it, then you add a little bit of tomato sauce just to get those noodles covered. And the thing is, when this is cooking, there is a lot of sauce in here, and as it cooks, it will get more liquidy. That's pretty good, Alver. Right there and right there. And then you take the rest of the mozzarella cheese, no matter how much you have left, and you sprinkle that all over the top. We will cover this with tin foil. We'll stick it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. And then when we get back to the baking of it, I'll give you the directions at that point. When you put this tin foil on, you put the shiny side down.
Oh, really?
Because the heat always comes to the shiny side. And when I do my lasagna, I always bake it with the tin foil on for a half an hour before I take the cover off, because I don't want my noodles that are maybe sticking out on the top to get burnt. There you go, Alver.
Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands and I'll put it in the fridge.
Okay.
Welcome back. It has been about 3 hours since we prepared the lasagna, and now we're gonna stick it in the oven at 350 degrees for 2 hours?
No, 1 hour.
1 hour. 1 hour. Half hour with the tinfoil cover on, and then after about a half hour we'll pull this off and we'll let it finish the last half hour with the tinfoil off. That way the cheese will get nice and cooked on top, and you'll see the taste test when we sit down for dinner. It's been 30 minutes, so I'm just going to take the cover off the lasagna and then stick it right back in there. And but I want you to see what it looks like after 30 minutes with the cover on it. Jesus, kind of.
That's okay.
It's like an old Domino's pizza look. 30 minutes, this thing will be done. Now normally I just start eating right away. We're going to let it sit for a little bit. But you will get to see the taste test. So it has been about an hour and 10 minutes actually. I gave it a little bit more time in this big pan, and my mom told me to. It is done. It is very, very done. I don't know how moms do this. Oh. That is a done lasagna.
Oh my goodness, it looks great.
Yeah. They're off. Okay, so I'll get a close up here. We're gonna let it sit for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to take the first slice out. Isn't that hot now?
No, it's cooled off.
That's a pretty good brick of lasagna for all you people that want to see the brick of lasagna. Is that mine?
That's yours. And the
Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Bless us,
So
O
Lord,
Lord,
for these gifts which we are about to receive from thy
bounty through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Amen. All right. My mom's secret recipe for lasagna.
An extra treat of bread from the neighbor, homemade bread,
Homemade bread from the neighbor,
and a salad.
salad, and red wine.
Perfect
Thank you.
meal.
Thank you, God. Amen. And in love, life. So my lasagna is done. It is not even close to as nice as when my mom was cooking it to be, because I forgot to even put tin foil on top of it. But I'm guessing the insides are still good. And we're gonna cut it open right now. What is that? Okay, so my lasagna is done. I don't even have a phone over there. The dryer's going on in the background. My lasagna is still very black on top because I forgot to put tin foil on it. But we're gonna give it a shot here. Cut it open. I'm starving. I'll use a fillet knife. And it's been sitting now for 20 minutes.
This is definitely why you want the tin foil on your lasagna before you put it into the oven to cook for an hour. You will have a crusty top lasagna. But
That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
proper spatula.
I'm gonna go with the nice middle piece here. One brick of lasagna. Well, Mom, happy Mother's Day. Mine obviously didn't turn out as good as when we cooked it, and you guys see that in the video. I forgot to put tin foil on top, but we'll see how it tastes. I hope to get this edited and out tomorrow, hopefully by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Still very good. Very, very good. Love life, love God. Osmond by my side. See you on the next episode.